I got to tinker more with Twitch, so I can stream myself playing like Dead Cells and stuff.
What did you try to play on there? Rogue Legacy?
I just turned on Rogue Legacy. I mean, I wasn't like, it was just like, oh, I'm just gonna run through and just to basically test to see if it was actually broadcasting. And
on your PC, or was this on your PlayStation?
This was on the PlayStation. What's the new one? 5.
PlayStation. Twitch integration on PlayStation is pretty good.
It is.
Yeah,
plus, you use the microphone on the controller as your microphone, and it's actually pretty good.
Because what I did, because I just plugged this headset with
that's exactly what I use.
Yeah, I just plugged that into the controller.
Yeah,
and it worked.
It seemed to work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I use when I stream from my PS5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's nice because it's all done through the share button, so it's really super easy, right? And it all just works. It's not like the Xbox; you got to jump through a bunch of hoops to get it to do that.
And I think because I went into my Twitch account because I never messed around with Twitch as far as like broadcasting stuff. I barely mess around with it watching stuff.
Right.
But I think I clicked the little button where it will save my videos on my channel.
Yeah.
And then does that just automatically save to your channel, or do you have to do something like to
anytime you stream something, it's going to save an archive of it to your channel.
Okay.
For a certain amount of time.
So it's not long.
Yeah, and you also have to be careful if it's anything that has licensed music in it. Right. It'll be muted. And all the audio is muted. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, all I'm going to be playing is like Rogue Legacy and Dead Cells, most likely. So
yeah.
And then what do you do once it's archived? Do you just have to like export it out to like
you can
YouTube?
Export it? You can export it if you want. Yep. Or you can clip it as well. If you make clips out of it, those will get saved.
Okay. See, I have like
for good.
No Twitch experience.
This is about as casual of a thing as I intend to do. I want to do zero effort on this. I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the PS5 is perfect for it.
Yeah, I don't want to start encroaching on your territory and start streaming. I just want to,
have fun with it.
I just want to, record myself playing.
Watch you play games.
Yeah, I just want to record myself playing Dead Cells or whatever. Let people watch, and then have it saved so you can watch it later.
Yeah, that sounds
so. At that point, would you just export it to YouTube? And
yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Path of least resistance. That's what I want.
Amen to that, brother.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
hello
and welcome to episode 776 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going there, sir?
I stood in line today to rent a violin for my youngest daughter for over 4 hours.
Whoa. Did they come with a PlayStation 5?
You're renting the violin for over 4 hours, or you stood
I stood in line for 4 hours.
For over 4. So
you rent the violin.
But I would imagine you are renting it for over 4 hours.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But the point was that I stood in line for over 4 hours.
Okay, so that applies to both. Okay.
Sure.
So is she's I'm assuming she's learning to play the violin?
Yes.
Okay.
And the city nicely rents out the instruments for free for the year.
Ah,
really?
Nice.
So, which is a new thing. They used to. My two older ones also tried this for a couple of years and used to have to pay for those. But this year it's free.
This is a school-based activity then?
Yep.
Nice.
Very cool.
When I was teaching 4th grade, there was a girl in my class who played the violin, and she was quite good. And there were a couple of times where she brought in her instrument and actually performed a little number for the class. And
cool.
She was really, really good. So that's awesome.
That's great.
I'm excited to hear that.
When was the last time you stood out in front of some kind of thing in line like that there, Greg? Was it for a video game?
Like a PS3 or something. Yeah.
Did the first person in line to rent an instrument run out afterwards holding it up and then just smash it on the ground?
Yeah, and they'd been there since midnight the night before. So
oh wow,
yeah,
it's like this is for the clout, and then just
the clout
doing it for the YouTube views.
My Stradivarius, no,
my Stradivarius. Yeah.
I wonder what happened to those crazy kids who started that Smash My Xbox 360 and Smash My Wii thing. They're probably like into cryptocurrency at this point.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're probably millionaires now.
They're probably millionaires.
They're selling images of
an NFT of Smash My Xbox
Wii's are NFTs now. Yeah, there's a JPEG of the insides of my PS2. All it'll cost you is $30,000.
Yeah.
And a rainforest or two. And that's our show for this week.
They probably get a lot of hits on TikTok for those videos.
Do they still do that?
Anyway.
Man, we had half of my son's school didn't go to school on Friday because of a TikTok challenge.
I've heard about things like that.
Which one?
Well, there's a couple of them. So the one that seems to be hitting a lot of schools here is that there's a TikTok challenge going around right now that tries to tells kids to go and like vandalize the school.
Oh,
so like, and I mean, the irony of it is that in the past few years in Nova Scotia, the province has actually spent a lot of money on building new schools.
Right,
because a lot of our buildings were just super old and in disrepair. And now it's like so many of the bathrooms in these schools have been destroyed because of these stupid TikTok challenges.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But the one that was happening here that happened with Friday is that there's basically somebody vandalizing the bathroom in my son's school, saying that something terrible was going to happen on the 17th. They were calling it the new 9/11. And
what involves destroyed school bathrooms?
No, I think it's a different thing. It's some other. I mean, you can't keep up. But anyway, it was just like the police were there, and
oh dear,
like there was a police presence, and they shut down a bunch of events that day, and because a lot of people, myself included, just didn't send their kids to school that day.
Wow,
nothing happened.
Yeah,
thank goodness. But I didn't want to find out the hard way that I was overreacting. You know what I mean? So yeah.
There was some TikTok thing that I saw on Twitter where kids like pour cans of beans on people.
Yeah, the bean
thing. Like,
porch challenge.
Isn't there places now where you aren't allowed to sell beans to youths? Or something like that?
Like what? Can't we just go back to Tide Pods and
or flaming bags of poop on the doorstep?
I got out ahead of them. If you come up to my front door right now, there's about 3 pounds of beans. I just dumped them out there myself. So if any kids
but they've already been digested and gone through.
Oh no, that's just crude.
You made it gross.
I'm just
you beaned yourself.
Some kids show up with a big sack of beans, and they'll be, oh, someone got this house already. Let's move on to the next one.
That's right. You showed them.
You do it. That's how you do it, man.
You gotta rent a house.
Yeah.
Bean yourself and then move out.
Yep. Boom.
Done.
Boom.
You've been TikToked.
You've been TikToked.
Is that what they say?
It's just how they say punked now.
So we stand a yeet TikTok here at the Player One podcast.
How do those things start? How do those sort of challenges
assholes
start?
Online?
I mean, the first sort of things like that, I remember like the ice bucket challenge, like those were for charity. Right? Those were for
like that thing I did with the train a while ago.
And you ate the train.
Thing with the train. Right. But like these and the Tide Pods thing just seems ridiculous. Where has society gone? Where has society gone?
Why can't we do normal stuff like planking? This whole bean thing is ridiculous.
You remember when that was the most controversial thing ever?
I know.
All these morons planking everywhere.
Yeah.
Kids
the good old days.
I'm gonna coat myself with beans and then plank
on someone's doorstep
at the Tide Pod factory.
Why can't you just get a good toilet papering going
for charity? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good old TPing.
Good old TP.
I don't know. I mean, beginning of the COVID thing. I mean, toilet paper is pretty hard to come by.
Well,
Maybe
that's
that's why
true.
they
There's a
stopped.
lot of money up there in those trees.
I welcome a good TPing.
Mm.
You know, that's free. That's free toilet paper. You know, you get that off your trees
Use
before
that.
the rain comes. You're set.
Well, you're set.
Golden.
Yep.
Last
Did you
you
ever
a week
TP?
at least.
Did you ever TP a house when you were
No.
a misguided, wayward teen?
No.
I have.
Did you really? Did you?
It was
really?
for it was for the swim team stuff.
Oh well, that makes sense.
Did it
Yeah,
help you
when
swim
we would
faster?
get to like get to like the final meets, whether it be like city or state or whatever,
Yeah.
like we would TP the houses of the kids who were in those events.
Like the rival teams.
No, our own team.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, right? Now in hindsight,
That's stupid.
it doesn't really make much
You
sense.
took something that already sounded stupid and made it even more dumb.
But yeah, and I think that's something they
Remember-
still do in the
when
Midwest.
Tanya Harding broke her own kneecaps because she was very concerned about the outcome of that skating competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yikes. What are you doing? Let's
don't
vandalize our
know.
own. Was that just to avoid, like, if the cops show up? Officer, this is my house. What?
Right.
What are you gonna
No,
do?
No,
I've decided
I've-
not to lay charges.
I have not had the cops called on me for that. No,
Oh
No,
man.
did not.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Uh,
And from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil
oh,
Theobald.
right, we haven't finished the intro
We
yet.
haven't done that.
That's me. That's me.
That's
I'm
your
Phil.
name.
I'm Phil. I've never TP'd a house.
Never.
Nope.
I
Me
see.
neither.
Never egged a house. I was a good
I've never
boy.
egged a house.
No.
Really? That's a
No.
waste of eggs.
I know, right?
You know, eggs are. Hey, you know, you can scramble those things up. You know, you can
Yeah.
fry them.
Yeah.
Boil them. Eggs are tasty.
And really,
Why
when I
throw
was
'em at a
TPing
house?
houses, it was a celebration of.
It was a show of
Sportsmanship.
respect.
It was a show of
Who-
respect.
Who had to clean it up
Celebration of
afterwards?
sportsmanship.
Oh, the parents.
Ah, there you go.
Kids.
Yeah, there you go. Big celebration for you and the swim team, but
Yeah.
maybe
Who
not so
TP'd our
much.
house? Oh, it was my teammate. See ya.
I mean, they still do that because I was in Chicago not too long ago, and the
And
house
you
next
kept
to my
in touch
parents'
with
house.
the high school swim team?
No, the house
No.
next to my neighbor's house had been TP'd for
Really?
a swim meet. Yeah,
That's what a
Hmm.
odd tradition.
I know, right?
I'm just imagining like CJ in his 40s going back to his hometown and call up the old swim team crew. Get your
Wanna
toilet
get
paper,
crazy?
guys. We're doing it.
We're going old school,
We're
boys.
reliving the 90s, baby. Let's go.
That's right.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Yeah, huh?
should we talk about video games?
What's
Why not?
more interesting this week in video game news or TPing houses?
TPing houses, I think.
exactly.
Maybe.
That's my
So
point.
I wrote down a couple things we can talk about.
Okay.
First of all, there was a Nintendo FCC filing for
Oh,
a new
I
controller that has
love
led to a
FCC
lot
filings.
of speculation.
Yeah.
And now they submit these FCC filings in such a way that you can't figure out what it is for. It's
Oh.
like they block any visuals or photos because the
Okay.
last time there was an FCC filing for something, it was the Super Nintendo wireless controller.
Oh, right.
And people figured that out from the FCC filing. So now it's just like blank boxes in the in the filings. You can't really tell what it is, but it's a controller. We do know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is. It's a controller for Switch, and we don't know much more than that. And that has led to speculation that it's an N64 controller for the Switch,
Oh,
just
okay.
like the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo controllers before it.
I hope it immediately starts to leak that white powder from the analog stick.
Oh,
playing too much Mario Party.
Yep.
yeah. And then everybody has a little callus right here.
Ugh,
Yeah. I didn't
Callus,
get
more like
affected by that.
more like a gaping wound for crying
Yeah.
out loud. Yeah.
Open wound.
Yeah,
it could have been worse. It could have been a Dreamcast analog stick
Mm.
that actually had like razor like Nubbins at the top.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been that. So yeah, there's rampant speculation that this is an N64 controller. If they were to release such a thing, would you guys be interested in that?
God,
if it
no.
went along with N64 games on Nintendo Switch Online?
No.
Like just getting a novelty
getting
controller.
Like a wireless N64 controller for your.
I have the little NES one, and I have the Super Nintendo one. So yeah, I'd get it.
I do too. Yeah, I probably would get that too.
I'd get it.
Nope.
Kind of hoping they would do like a Pro Controller revision that has a headphone jack, so that you could use a headset.
Right.
I think that's asking a lot of Nintendo. I mean, we just got Bluetooth headset support this week.
That's true.
So
hey. Spoiling the rest of the news.
Yeah.
Come on.
So there was speculation, I forget, maybe it was Nintendo Life that I saw this on, that they're thinking that it might, if N64 gets released on Nintendo Online, that it might jack the price up a little bit too.
Yeah, I heard speculation that there will be another tier of service for Nintendo Switch Online. Like they'd up the price or add another tier on top.
Seems like a bad idea.
It's like, why would they do that? People already don't think the $20 worth it. Why would they do like another?
Let's take our least popular system outside of the Virtual Boy and make that the premium.
That seems like the kind of speculation that only rabid Nintendo fans would come up with.
Yeah.
Nintendo going to charge us more and we're going to love it.
About time.
I mean, that might be true. I did, after all, spend $50 on the WarioWare game.
I fully expect you to pay it, yeah. And then come on here and tell us why it's a good thing.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think you do.
N64?
There were some good N64 games.
There are.
There's a handful.
I was cataloging my N64 collection this past week.
There's a handful of good games.
How many millions is it worth?
Not a lot of millions, but
several thousand
getting up there. Boy, I told you guys about that though. That Paper Mario I picked up,
which I picked up as well. We were at Toys R Us at the same time.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah, we. This was well after Paper Mario was out, but CJ and I were at Toys R Us, and they had a big old stack of Paper Mario on clearance for $5.
$5.
$5 each. And I mean, like I said, Paper Mario had already been out for months, so we both had the game already, but we were just like, hey, $5.
I don't think I had the game actually.
Oh, really?
I just bought it.
Oh, you never played it?
No, I had it. I played through it, but I was like, I'll buy another copy for $5 and just hang on to it, see what happens. Apparently, I saw what happened
because we all remember Earthbound for $5.
Well, that's just it, right?
Yeah.
Wish.
And now I'm kicking myself because there was like probably 30 copies of Paper Mario there for $5 each.
Yeah,
but are you really? I mean, you know, I guess now it'd be nice to be able to collect that money, but to never mind. I forgot who I'm talking to. I was going to say to store like 30 copies of Earthbound for 20 years, but never mind.
Yes, no, it's me, of course.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Sealed Paper
I
Mario
forget.
now.
I keep forgetting you've been paying rent for your video game collection for 20 years.
Exactly.
There you go.
Sealed Paper Mario though is going for like $1,300 these days.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
video game collecting's been ruined. Just completely ruined.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Yeah.
There's nothing good about it anymore.
When I get around to selling that Paper Mario, I'm not going to care that much, but I absolutely agree with you 100%. I see in our chat, we got I can't wait to play Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Boy, that's a terrible game. However, worth a decent amount of money.
That one, is it really?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I forget exactly what it was, but it was like 100 or 2, something like that, for just the cart, which is what I have. So
okay,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
but
that's not one of the good N64 games.
No.
All right, keeping on the Nintendo news train here. Switch got a software update last week.
We already talked about this.
As part of it,
Yeah, Greg brought
it
this up.
now supports Bluetooth audio,
Mhm.
Bluetooth headsets.
Yes.
Now, it is important to note that it does not support Bluetooth microphones. So you can
Well, that's
have
probably
the
in another 2
headset.
years.
You can have the headset for the audio,
Mhm.
but you can't, if you're playing an online game, can't use it to chat.
Who are you talking to?
Who are you going to be talking to?
What
How
game
many
are you
people
playing?
do you know online who are worth talking to anyway?
Right?
3?
I can think of one.
Who?
I don't know. I don't have
Yeah.
anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's sad. That was a sad story.
But yeah, so now you can use Bluetooth headphones, which is good.
Have you tried it yet?
I've not tried it. No.
Good. Me neither.
I might try that tonight.
Oh, there you go. Good.
Yeah.
Just to
Apparently,
spite you guys.
if it will stop supporting Bluetooth headsets if you add more and more wireless controllers. So if you're playing a multiplayer game, you won't be able to use it. But that kind of makes sense, because why would you be using Bluetooth headset with like 3 players playing couch co-op or something?
I don't know, but I guarantee someone out there is angry about it.
Maybe you really hate your friends.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
I'm going to be the only one to hear this game.
Look, I'm going to play Mario Kart with you guys, but I don't want to have to listen to you talk. Okay.
The only one that can appreciate the background music in this OST. Excuse me. Yeah.
This OST.
That's right. But hey, good that they're now supporting Bluetooth headsets. That was a requested feature. You still can't do that on either the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox. So there you go.
Nintendo innovates again.
Nintendo
There you go.
innovates again.
Yep.
Only behind the
Taking
curve by a few years, but still ahead of other
Technology
people.
from the Vita and making it new, making it their own. All right. Let's talk about this. So there's a new Wipeout game.
Oh, hold on a second here. I got to get my monkey paw ready here. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, a new Wipeout game has been announced called Wipeout Rush.
My wish is coming true.
It is for mobile.
Oh, there goes that curled finger. Look at that.
It is for mobile. However, it's from Rogue Games, and they actually have a pretty good track record on mobile. And Matt Casamassina, formerly of IGN and
that name?
Formerly of Apple, is one of he's the CEO of Rogue. He's one of the founders of that company. So,
but here's the problem.
Might actually be okay.
Here's the problem.
No.
It's a mobile game.
It's a mobile game. Yeah.
Isn't it also like card based?
Yes, it's a card.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a card game. Yeah.
Strike 2.
But here's the thing. I mean, Sony really wants a mobile hit.
Curl up for one wish. But okay.
Sony wants a mobile hit.
Yeah.
Oh, is Sony own this? Is this?
Doesn't Sony own Wipeout? I'm pretty sure they do.
Don't know.
Yes, they do.
I don't. Maybe
Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. And Dragula is on the soundtrack. I see. There we go.
Oh, wow. One of those fingers uncurled.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking.
There you go. Yeah.
It gives and it takes away.
Yeah. So I figure this is one of those first step things. Sony wants to get their PlayStation brands on mobile. So start with this one.
Okay.
And, when you hear PlayStation IPs on mobile, we think of like, oh, Uncharted on a mobile phone, or they'll make.
Maybe you do.
I don't think of that. What I think of is things like Clash of Clans with some kind of Sony IP, or Clash Royale with some kind of Sony IP, like those mechanics, or a card game that is with the Wipeout IP on it, right? Like those sort of genres that work well on mobile, but using the PlayStation IP. I don't think you're going to even be playing like Vita level Uncharted on a phone at any point, because that's not going to make enough money to justify its existence. Like, that's not what mobile games are. So, yeah. Anyway,
I will never play that.
Yeah,
I probably won't either. Yeah. I also wanted to bring up this milestone. The GameCube launched in Japan 20 years ago last week.
It was 20 years ago today. Luigi's Mansion came
was
out.
The game to play.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
People
Very nice.
dissed it because it wasn't a Mario 64 sequel, but it's guaranteed to raise a smile.
There you go. All
There
right.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
So may I introduce to you the one and only Billy Hatcher.
Oh, God.
There it is. See?
There goes all the goodwill.
There it is.
Got there. Yeah. So GameCube, 20 years. You guys are great co-hosts.
I mean, what do you
yes,
say?
We agree with this timeline.
Yep, you're right. That's true. It's been 20 years.
What do you want? Like
years.
our best memories? Do you want our launch stories?
Best memories, launch. I remember covering it for the magazine.
Here we go. Yeah.
Covering it for EGM. I remember
it was a great time at EGM.
It was a great time for one thing.
Yes.
The launches of the Xbox, the original Xbox, and the GameCube were like a week apart.
Yes.
And I remember for the launches, I went around to various stores like Babbage's and Best Buy and interviewed people who were getting both systems.
Oh, okay.
And then put some of that in the magazine. And it was funny that like when Xbox launched, that was a pretty big launch with a lot of people lined up. And the GameCube launch, not nearly as many people lined up for that.
Well, and they were coming off the N64.
They were coming off the N64, which was not a great
It wasn't a
platform.
super popular system.
No.
I remember, though, that was one of my favorite times working at EGM just because doing that Xbox and GameCube issue was amazing.
Oh, that is a great issue of EGM.
Microsoft and Nintendo in the office at the same time. Went into the office was all Xboxes, and then there were GameCubes down by the game room, and we were all playing everything, and it was incredible. And of course, months ahead of release. And I remember that was the time that we found out at the 11th hour that Rogue Squadron was reviewable. And was it you were one of the reviewers, right? No? I know Crispin was. I can't ever remember who the third person was, but Crispin and I were both on that review. And we ended up staying there all night and beating it. Because, of course, as we talked about on the show before, back then, if you're playing the Nintendo game that isn't out yet, the Nintendo rep is in the room with you.
Yep.
And so the Nintendo rep we had agreed to stay all night, and we played until we rolled credits, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Such a great game.
Yeah.
I because I was at Game Now.
Game when?
Game several years ago at this point.
Okay.
Game 20 years ago.
Ah.
But yeah, it wasn't the review, it was a preview of Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader.
Yes.
And I had a big preview. It was one of the big kind of cover worthy previews of that issue. And I had to hurry up and get that written on September 11th, 2001, because that was the day it was due. It was a very somber article. So
I see.
there you go. There's my GameCube memory, CJ.
Yeah, boy, that really brought it down.
That was my 9/11 story.
Great.
I had to write a Star Wars preview.
Thanks, Phil.
Going back to that GameCube versus Xbox issue of EGM, remember nice. In the back of the magazine, we did like a sort of back page.
I was thinking about this
article where people chose a side, basically. And I chose GameCube. Yeah, I chose GameCube. Side?
Okay,
I chose Xbox.
Yeah, and I'm happy with my GameCube decision because I think
that more people.
I thought that Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin, and then Smash Brothers right after was like a great launch lineup.
No.
Plus Star Wars, of course. Great game.
Monkey Ball was
Monkey Ball was
right
launch,
out of the gate too, right?
Yep. I thought that was a great launch lineup, and I thought it was better than Xbox, which really was just Halo
and
a
Project
couple of
Gotham
other
Racing.
Sneakers.
No, Sneakers wasn't launch.
Oh no.
You know what I remember is that for me, I picked Xbox because Halo, which I was absolutely in love with,
Right.
Project Gotham Racing for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
and the Sega games that were announced to come out
Oh yeah.
on that system, I was more excited about because I think we knew. I don't know if we knew enough, but I mean, there was Crazy Taxi coming, there was Jet Set Radio Future coming, there was Panzer Dragoon was going to be coming. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
both systems were getting Sega games, but the ones I wanted were on the Xbox.
Right.
I was going to get both systems anyway, so it really didn't matter.
yeah. It was definitely the Sega games that sold me on the Xbox.
Yeah, definitely wasn't Microsoft's first party stuff outside of those two big titles.
Right.
Now Munch's Odyssey.
Oh, I really enjoyed Munch's Odyssey. Actually,
yeah, I did too, actually.
I wouldn't call it a system seller, but I did.
What about Bloodwake? How do you feel about Bloodwake?
Bloodwake.
Wow.
I remember being impressed by the water physics.
Azuric.
Oh, see.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
God, they had some garbage.
They did. They had a lot of strikes before they hit one out of the park. Sports reference. Anyway,
good.
Is that hockey? So you're talking about hockey?
Talking about
he's
volleyball.
Been watching a lot of Ted Lasso lately, so he's.
I'm gonna watch that.
No, I haven't watched any of season 2 yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you don't know who lives and who dies.
I don't.
Okay, well I won't spoil anything.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You best not be
I
spoiling.
I shan't.
Okay, good.
Good show though.
It is a good show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get into what you've been playing.
Okay.
And I guess I'll go first. If we must. Played a little more Luigi's Mansion 3. Speaking of Luigi's Mansion GameCube type thing, I guess we didn't even talk about Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 1 was a launch game on the GameCube. A very underrated game.
Well, everyone wanted Mario 64 too.
Everyone wanted Mario 64 too, and they didn't get it. So
99 Marios, isn't that what we were hearing about then? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I think that or like Mario 128.
Mario 128.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, something there was a demo.
There was some weird number.
When the GameCube was first revealed, one of the demos they showed was a bunch of Mario models from Mario 64 running around in a big thing, pushing squares around. So everybody immediately thought, "Oh, we're going to get a Mario game for GameCube," and that wasn't until
Mario 128.
Mario Sunshine
which
came
is
out.
Twice as much as 64.
There you go.
Quick math.
Just like we all saw that demo of Link fighting Ganon and thought that we were getting like the grown-up Link in Zelda game.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got that little goofy cartoon.
I love that goofy cartoon.
I do too.
I grew to love it, but I understood the people who weren't excited when they first saw it.
I understood that, but still, the gameplay looked great.
When it was great.
And I think it holds up even if you play the GameCube game. I think the animation holds up even today.
Well, I really feel like
that era.
I really feel like the GameCube kicked off sort of the philosophy that Nintendo sticks to today, which is, they were still sort of in the horsepower race a little bit.
Yeah.
And they were selling things that way, but it was more like, let's just use good art direction that doesn't require everything to be made of a million polygons.
Yeah.
And it has the added bonus of making things seem much more timeless.
Yeah.
And it really felt like that was where they started.
Hey,
that sort of path.
Yoshi's Island looks better than any of the Donkey Kong Country games, and it always did.
That's true.
For that exact reason.
That's very true.
But it wasn't as marketable.
I thought the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube looked fantastic.
I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah, it's a great looking game.
And it still does. It still looks really good.
Yeah, it still does. You're right. But Next Level Games has gone above and beyond. Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS and then 3 on the Switch look amazing.
Yes,
and they play very, very well as well. So I played a little bit more of that. I'm up to floor 8, I think, which is the television studio.
How many floors are there in this game?
It goes up past 10, I believe.
Okay.
But I'm putting buttons in the elevator, and there's like 4 or 5 more above me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
I gotta get back into that
game.
game.
playing that co-op with Charlotte and having a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah, except when she gets too scared to do anything as Guiji. She'll get too scared, and there'll be areas where Guiji is the only player that can do this particular thing. So she has to do it. And it's a lot of trying to coax her to actually
oh man,
do what we need to do to get this. Exactly. Yeah. In the TV studio, there's some puzzles where Luigi gets on the camera, and then Guiji is the one that goes around the stage.
Yeah.
Guiji has to perform the action or whatever. So
wow.
Yeah. But it's super fun. Still having a lot of fun with it. I really want to finish this one.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to pull that game out again, since we're kind of in between
Halloweeny.
Yeah.
Big games for Switch, and it's around Halloween. So seemed like a perfect time to do that.
Even though it's not even September 20th yet. But
well, I mean, the Halloween decorations are out at Target, so why not?
Since July.
Yeah. And they're Halloween decorations from 2020 that didn't sell. So, right?
Yeah, I suppose they probably are.
Anyway, and then I've been playing a bunch of Sea of Thieves, which of course everybody cares about. But season 4 of Sea of Thieves starts this upcoming week, which I'm very, very excited about. Brings some new areas to the game. They're doing more underwater exploration in season 4. So
do you have submarines? No
submarines, but you can breathe underwater. It's just like Sonic the Hedgehog. You got to find the bubbles, and you can breathe.
Oh, really?
Underwater. Yeah, it's that type of thing. But yeah, looking forward to that. And this past weekend, since this current season, it's since a live service game now. So since this current season is wrapping up, they did a double gold, double reputation weekend, and I played a bunch with our mutual friend Mike, because apparently you canceled board game night on him, Greg.
What happened? What happened?
So we had no recourse but to sail the
there's
seas.
a story.
Parenting happened.
Parrington.
You guys should try it sometime.
You say Parrington
like
or
board games? Kids like board games?
Maybe. I wouldn't know. I don't let my kids play them.
Parenting. What was this parenting that happened?
It's none of your business.
Okay.
CJ suddenly like
CJ wants to.
You really got to justify this. What's been going on in your personal life?
Yeah,
tell me what
deal?
happened. Yeah. I'll see if it's okay.
What's the deal?
You disrupted our Catan night. I really need to make sure it was worth it.
CJ was like, normally on Saturdays I don't have to play with Mike, but this time I had to.
Yeah,
it was your fault.
No choice.
What board games do you play at board game night?
We play a lot of different ones. Ticket to Ride is kind of a staple for us, but you know, Pandemic, and we don't play Catan because none of us like it.
That was just the first.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you know,
that's kind of like the
game that popped
I know there are board games beyond Monopoly and Risk.
Yes.
Like Catan.
Probably not playing Sorry.
No.
Probably not.
What about Parcheesi?
Yeah.
No. Also no.
Okay.
Lots of different stuff.
Plus,
you
I'm
could
a big
watch
fan of
the archive of my board game stream from last month.
Oh, right.
See a few of those.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I did play a little more WarioWare.
Yeah.
We went back into the story mode and did some of the unlocked some more of the micro games that didn't unlock through our first play.
Right.
So Charlotte and I played some co-op in that. And it's fun to kind of like keep things going, and the stages, you know, advance and get a little more difficult as you go. And sometimes the ones that start out with toilet humor bring out cat humor and other like hilarious things. So
sometimes you gotta wait through the toilet humor to get to the cat humor.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a micro game in there where you have to cover something in cat litter. You have to
No, okay.
Actually like hide a turd in the in the litter. It's
Is it
pretty
actually
fun.
like poo? Like, are you actually burying poop?
Yeah, you're burying poo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like
and then the cat smiles, or this like
Oh, yeah, of
really
course.
funny animation.
That's what they want. They want it. They want it covered.
Yeah.
No,
That
makes sense.
game's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's realistic in that
It's
sense.
realistic. So
Yeah.
realistic. So
Mhm.
real with the
Mhm.
poo stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's all I've been playing. So, Greg, what about you? What do you got for us?
Well,
you have
speaking
a lot
about,
of games on your list here.
there are, and they're all old. Speaking of the GameCube, I have recently been playing through Metroid Prime.
Oh,
Was asked to appear on the Games My Mom Found podcast again recently for like the 4th time. I was informed. I didn't realize it had been that many times. And so that's a podcast that I highly recommend. And they basically, the hosts go, and it's like a game club type thing, but they actually follow through on it. So they pick a game, try to finish it, and then just spend an hour or so talking about it. And yeah, so Metroid Prime was the one that I was on recently, and I was playing it through the RetroTink 5X, which I know people that listen have been wondering about my thoughts on that. It's a fantastic little device. Made an S video signal from my GameCube look really nice on my 4K television. And speaking of, like, I'm not going to go too much into detail because I really think you should go listen to the episode. But speaking of games that really hold up visually, Metroid Prime definitely holds up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it does look old, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing where it just everything looks really organic in that game. And they did such a fantastic,
great.
Yeah. And they did such a fantastic job with like the interface on that, with the whole, like, you're in the visor happening, and you sometimes you can see Samus's reflection if there's an explosion too close to you, and like the visor fogs up in different areas, and it really holds up well. And the fact that it's got such oddball controls, with the oddball controller, means it doesn't feel like, going back and playing first person shooters from a long time ago, they feel old, right? Like, because they've been getting refined for 20-30 years now, and they're fantastic, but you can always tell when you're playing something that's a little bit older. But because of the fact that the controls were so unique because of this controller, it doesn't feel like it's aged as much, which is nice. And it really made me hope that the whole idea of Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch is true. Yeah. And that it's happening, because I never did play Corruption because I couldn't stand the motion controls on the Wii. Yeah. And I would love to be able to play that with not motion controls.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I hope. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, there was that. That was great. The other thing that I did on a stream, a donor request stream this week, was play Sunset Riders. Oh. And because the stream's like an hour and a half long, and Sunset Riders is not an hour and a half long game, it's about a half an hour or so. I played the arcade version, the Genesis version, and the Super Nintendo version all in one sitting. And boy, does that game hold up. That game's really good. That game's from like what I consider probably my favorite Konami era in the arcade. You know what I mean? Yeah. 4 players, which I didn't play 4 players, obviously, but which, by the way, the Arcade Archives version is available on Switch. That's how I played the arcade version. Huh. And yeah, really holds up. The only thing is, we sort of had forgotten about the Indian stages. Oh. And
oh no.
I mean, it's from the 90s. But yeah, good old Chief Wigwam was kind of a surprise. Oh boy. And then the best part is that when you go to the Genesis version, he's been renamed to Chief Scalpin.
Oh. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Okay. There
so you just
go.
Kind of grin and bear it. But it is a really good game. The Genesis version was okay. It's very different. It's very different from the arcade version.
Really?
The Super Nintendo one was more or less a carbon copy of the arcade game. The Genesis one, which I believe is because of the fact that it was a pretty small cartridge, small memory size, that they couldn't just do, because the game has 6 or 7 stages, I think.
Okay.
And they didn't do that on the Genesis. It's more linear. You're missing bosses. Bosses have been shifted around a lot. It's kind of interesting in a way because at least you're getting a different. It's still Sunset Riders, but you're getting a different experience. Kind of like Turtles in Time versus Hyperstone Heist.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Essentially the same game.
Did kind of that same sort of deal, right?
Right. Yeah. So although I wouldn't ever argue that the Genesis version is better than the Super Nintendo one. The Super Nintendo one is very, close to the arcade. It's just a better game. Right. But anyway, played that as well. So that was cool. There are 2 other ones that I want to mention. I'm going to go back and check which one's which. Oh, just to call out, and actually just one. So the other one that I finally have gotten around to playing, and I actually played through twice this week, is the Ground Zero Texas Nuclear Edition.
Oh, jeez.
So the Ground Zero Texas was a Digital Pictures full motion video game for the Sega CD.
No.
And Screaming Villains has released, the same people who've done Night Trap and
Double Switch.
Thank you. And Corpse Killer re-releases have now released Ground Zero Texas. And it's a lot easier than it used to be. It seems it's a pretty well done version, although I actually reached out to their Twitter account before the show, a couple days before the show, because I really wanted to ask some questions. So the whole idea of this is basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's the storyline of the game. You're in this Texas town where some aliens have landed and they assume the form of humans. So the whole thing is it's a big shooting gallery, but the whole challenge is that you have various scenes where there might be like 2 or 3 main characters in the scene, and depending on, it's all randomized, one of them is an alien, and sooner or later they will look up at the camera and pull a gun and you have to shoot them, basically. And then otherwise it's strung together by the storyline and by these shooting gallery areas. But the thing is that I played through it a couple of times, and then I actually went back and played the Sega CD version, because the thing that I find interesting, not only seeing these things with much clearer video from what we had 30 years ago, is they tend to rebuild these games from the ground up, because you can't really easily port Sega CD games, I'm guessing, to modern consoles.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to look and see the changes that are there. And there's a couple things that I really wanted to ask them about. One, I don't know why they did this, and I'd love to know the reason, is there's one scene where there's a big red sign in the background. In the Sega CD version, it says Hot Tacos on it.
Yeah.
But in this version, it's a big, it says combat, and it's like this skull with a combat helmet on it. And it's very clearly been pasted on, to the scene digitally.
Okay.
And I don't know why, and I would love to know why.
Oh.
Much like
that
the
Hot
other games,
Taco licensing agreement finally ran out, and they had to do something.
Is Hot Taco's a thing? I don't know. But the other thing that I find really interesting, and you kind of notice this in other games too that they've done, is that, these games were shot on video. They weren't shot on film, I don't believe. So even, cleaned up and on with a full reasonable color palette, as opposed to what they had to work with on the Sega CD, it doesn't look amazing. It looks like VHS tape, really.
Right.
Like actual VHS tape, not the filters you see on YouTube. But it's interesting to see with the increased fidelity, things like, it really looks like in some scenes that actually they're split in half, because they're not, they move differently. There's always slight camera movement, but the scenes move differently. But the other thing that you really notice because of this is that the lighting changes so much that you can kind of tell what's about to happen. So these scenes, the shooting gallery scenes, they're full motion video and they're just on a loop, and then something will pop out from somewhere on the screen, and then you have to shoot it, or if it's just a civilian, you don't want to shoot them. But because of the increased fidelity, it's really easy to notice when the scene is changed. So you're still looking at the exact same image, but all the shadows have changed a little bit.
Oh no.
So that something's about to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other thing too is because of all that, you can actually see where these people are hiding sometimes before they pop out, which is hilarious to me. Like there'll be like a piece of scenery they're behind, but it's like, say, like a slat board wall or something that on the Sega CD you wouldn't have the resolution to be able to tell there's somebody back there. But on this, you can totally see somebody crouching behind that that's about to jump up and shoot you. So but I mean, overall, you know, it's fun. I love going back and playing through these things. They're very quick, and just like all their other releases, they've included a bunch of behind the scenes footage. Not super exciting. I don't feel like, you know, before, like with Corpse Killer, they had actually done a bunch of interviews with the actors during the production of Corpse Killer, so it was actually pretty fascinating to sit and watch. And you know, with Night Trap, they actually the My Life in Gaming guys did a whole documentary about Night Trap, which they released alongside the game, and that was really cool. I don't know if they did something like that with Double Switch, but this is all sort of production video, somebody with a camcorder that just had it running all the time. So like there's not a lot of, it's not super interesting, unfortunately. It's a lot of like, here's the production meeting in the morning with like the special effects guy. It's like, this building's wired up with this is the second shot over here, who's the ambulance guy, here's where the fire trucks are. Like it's those kinds of meetings, which is still cool, but it's not the same as like, here's the actor who played the main character and what do they think about you know, everything that's going on. And they kind of augment that a little bit with like the script for the original game, and then the changes and some memos that went back and forth between the writers and Tom Zito and everything. That's all in there too, but it's kind of really scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as special edition stuff goes, unfortunately. But it's still cool to have. I mean, I will continue to buy all these Screaming Villains full motion video digital pictures updates because I just love having them. So
where's our new Tomcat Alley?
Man, yeah, or Sewer Shark, although they've come out and said that getting Sewer Shark is very difficult.
Oh, how come?
I don't know. Something they made it. It's an old tweet I found when I was looking for any information on this stuff, where they made it sound like there was licensing issues surrounding that, and I have no idea. I mean, maybe Sony still owns the license to it, right?
Oh yeah, that could be.
They're gonna make it into
the
a
one they
mobile game.
released. Yeah. Oh God.
It's gonna be a card battler.
That's gonna be the PS6 system seller.
Yeah,
they're hanging on to it.
But I could see Tomcat Alley being one.
Yeah,
that they
I
released.
liked Tomcat Alley back in the
Me
day.
too. That was a good game.
Yeah.
Although I think again it'll be another situation of you'll totally be able to see that it's a model on a string they're blowing up every time.
Absolutely.
It was pretty obvious on the Sega CD, but on this it'll be really obvious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
what about
play it
Prize
happily.
Fighter? Right?
Prize Fighter's another. Yeah,
do that.
You know, it's funny because I'm not going to sit here and defend full motion video games. They weren't good.
Right.
But they were a lot more varied than I think people give them credit for. Digital Pictures was at least trying something.
Yeah.
They weren't just releasing the same thing over and over again.
And Prize Fighter has the added benefit of featuring Dick Miller, which
Who?
Dick Miller, he is a character actor. You know Dick Miller.
Really?
You've seen Dick Miller in a million things. You will probably immediately.
Is he the
know
guy
him.
that yells this is going to be a massacre when they're walking to the ring the first time?
Might be. He is in Gremlins. He's the neighbor, Mr. Futterman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? He's not the trainer in that game. He's like the cut guy.
Yeah.
In the corner. Yes, I know exactly who you mean. Yeah. Yes, that's right. He's in there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is an amazing character actor, and he makes every production better with his presence. So,
and I mean, like talking about Prize Fighter, I mean, the fights were choreographed by the same person that did the choreography for Rocky and for Raging Bull. Right. I mean, they were spending real money on real professionals.
They were
in some of these productions.
They were convinced that this was the wave of the future.
Yep.
They were really.
Which is the main reason
for a little while they were
so happy that they're releasing these again.
Yeah.
Before 3D graphics became like a really big thing.
Yeah.
Like full motion video games were considered like, this is going to be the next big thing.
There was an element of the industry that thought this was the future.
Absolutely.
And I respect that.
I mean,
even if I don't agree with it.
They were trying to put the games on VHS, for crying out loud.
Yep.
I mean, that was the whole.
They were.
Was it the Nemo? Was that
Yep,
the
the
original?
Nemo.
Yeah.
And you got to
And
admit, there's some pretty interesting things were done with those games that even games like
Oh,
Five
absolutely.
Nights at Freddy's or whatnot are sort of emulating now.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm all in. The next time they announce something else, I don't buy physical games anymore, but I buy physical copies of these digital pictures remakes.
There it is.
So
Yeah,
Okay,
I have Night
that's how
Trap.
you get- Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Night Trap. I didn't get any of the others. Just
I've
'cause
got all. I think they've done 4 now.
really.
So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Corpse
yeah, 'cause
Killer,
it's-
this Double Switch, and Night Trap.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
I would
really
love
one
for them to
of
do
those-
Sewer Shark, but I don't see it happening. But I mean, they're starting to run out because at this point you've got like Slam City with Scottie
Supreme
Pippen,
Warrior.
which God knows if that's ever going to happen. Supreme
yeah.
Warrior,
Mhm.
Tomcat Alley, Sewer Shark,
What was the fireman one?
Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
which also had a 32X version.
That's right.
Did.
And I think and Wirehead,
Oh yeah, Wirehead.
Wirehead.
which had what's his name from Family Matters or Mallory's boyfriend, not boyfriend. The what was his name? Chip or
Skippy?
Skippy? That's
Was
it.
that
The guy who
Skip-
played
was that
Skippy.
Was it
Yeah.
actually the guy who
He
played
was
Skippy?
the main character in Wirehead.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay. I knew it was like some like again like some character actor. I didn't realize it was actually Skippy though.
Family Ties, not Family Matters.
Family-
Yeah. Family ties.
Who's the guy who was in love with Mallory, right? Wasn't that?
Yeah.
He was like the best friend of Kirk
Yeah, 'cause there
Cameron,
was-
but
Huh? Michael
he
J.
was
Fox.
like, what's that?
Yeah.
Was Michael J. Fox? Oh my god, I'm getting it all
Kirk
screwed
Cameron
up.
is
Yes.
growing pains.
Yes.
You're getting all your 80s
Clearly need to go
sitcoms.
watch some old sitcoms.
Clearly do.
Skippy was from the island of Mypos, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
With his cousin Barry.
yeah. And Dan Fielding represented him and when he was on trial.
I love the Night Court.
I think you're
Night-
forgetting the full motion video classic Fox Hunt.
that
Capcom's.
post digital pictures. Was that digital
That was,
pictures?
yeah.
Post-
I don't
yeah,
think
that was
count
Capcom.
as digital pictures. It was
Yeah, that was
Capcom.
PS1.
Yeah.
PS1. Yeah.
Let's see.
Uh,
I haven't done much been playing for a while, by the way. I'm just
Okay.
enjoy talking about full motion video games.
Now, let's
I enjoy
see here.
hearing about full motion video games.
I am looking up Steve Whitting is the main character in Wirehead.
Yeah.
Maybe I have it wrong.
And I do not he looks kind of like Skippy, but he
Maybe I
was
had it
not
wrong.
Skippy.
Oh
Uh,
damn!
Although
Then
you know
who
what's
the hell
funny?
is he?
He did play a character in Family Matters for a couple episodes.
So
So I was
there you go.
right.
You were right. Yeah. You know what? He played a delivery man on Perfect Strangers. So
Oh, there you go.
He just
and
looks
he was
like him.
Oh, he was in Batman Returns.
I just saw that.
Yeah, he was like
Oh yeah, he was the character. He was the image consultant.
yeah.
He bites the penguin bites his nose.
Yeah, like, could be worse.
Yeah.
Your nose could be gushing blood.
Yeah.
And then Wirehead gets his nose bit off.
This is where Wirehead gets his nose bit off.
Yeah, that was in the script.
Episode
Wirehead.
title.
Penguin bites off Wirehead's nose. So
All right,
you go.
Phil.
So by being so wrong about everything, I ended up being kind of right.
yeah, you loop
Yeah,
back around.
see?
Good job. Yeah, because Skippy was in love with Mallory, but Mallory
Mhm.
was dating Nick, who was
Right,
like the
Nick.
tough biker
Yes.
dude. Yeah, but he was a nice guy. Nick was.
Yep.
He was an
Big softy.
artist or a poet.
He was misunderstood. That's all I remember.
Yeah, he had he had a gruff exterior but a heart of
Yeah.
gold.
And he was stupid,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, right? Was he
That
stupid?
was kind of the thing for a while. Is that he was not too bright.
Was he a dumb guy?
I
Okay.
think that was the point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
But Mallory was stupid too. So
Yeah, well
It
that
worked
was
out.
that was the conflict between her and Alex.
yes,
He was the smart guy and she was the dumb one. And
There you
then
go.
Tina Others was also there.
good old Michael J. Fox.
What was her
The
character's
others
name?
was also there.
I forget Tina Others' character's name.
Yeah, me too.
Jennifer?
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't
sounds-
remember. I don't remember.
Sounds plausible.
It's been a
Bob
long
Saget?
time.
Phil,
Yeah?
what have you been playing?
Tom Hanks was their drunken uncle.
That's
The
right.
drunkle.
Remember that? Yeah, he was the drunkle. What have I been playing?
Yeah.
I have not been playing much this week. Let me tell you, I've been between
No,
work,
no digital pictures games.
back to school stuff. I haven't had time for
Ah.
any digital pictures games. I have been playing some Cliffhanger on Sega CD though, just to watch the movie segments.
Because that's the only good part of that game.
Boy, oh boy, yeah.
Hmm.
They did a really good job with the video compression though.
They
Those
really did.
those
That was
those
full screen.
yeah, it
Yeah.
looked, I mean, and it didn't look good, but for a Sega CD
Sega
full motion
CD.
video, it looked great.
Yep.
Yeah,
And there's
I
a
was
lot of
very-
it.
oh yeah, it was like practically the whole movie.
Yeah.
It felt like it's probably like 15 minutes total,
Sure.
but when you're sitting there in between,
God, I
terrible
remember wanting to
gameplay
like that
levels.
game so badly
I know.
because it used because Malibu Interactive, which did Batman Returns,
Okay.
which I absolutely loved, especially because on the Sega CD they did the racing, the three,
Oh, okay.
the driving segments were incredible,
Yeah.
and it's the same engine they're using in Cliffhanger when you get to the snowboarding segments.
Yes. where
You
you're
remember that part of the movie?
outrunning the avalanche. Yeah.
Outrunning the avalanche, which were so freaking hard.
It really was.
And it ruined, and otherwise it was just this crappy side-scrolling game. It just
Yeah.
ruined the game.
Yes.
And it was
indeed.
weird because Malibu kept doing that because Batman and Robin on the Sega CD was the same thing. It was
No,
all
yeah.
driving.
Oh yeah.
It was that same engine, but it was stupid hard.
Ugh.
Hmm.
And sadly, it had a bunch of original animation from
a
the
full-
people who made the show.
Had a full episode, right?
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
the
it is
lost
like a-
episode of the Batman animated series.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can only watch it by having to play through.
Like going to YouTube
Yeah,
because you're never playing
nowadays.
through that game.
Nowadays, yeah.
No.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't been playing too much. I did load up some Tetris 99 this week because they were doing another Maximus Cup. Is that what they call it?
I think they call it something different now.
When they
But I
have a
don't
theme,
remember.
when you have to
Yeah.
earn the 100 points to get a theme, they have a Warioware. Work it out. What's that game called? Cut it out together.
Get it together.
Get it together. WarioWare, get it together.
Cut it out together.
We
They
talked
had
about
a-
it last week on the show.
I know, I just couldn't remember the name. But yeah, they had a WarioWare.
Out.
The theme. We just can't get away from these 80s
Nope.
sitcoms today, can we?
Especially the ones we don't like. Family Matters and Full House. Ugh.
Yeah, no.
Those shows were terrible.
I watched them though.
I
I
did.
didn't.
Really?
Oh, I hated those shows so much.
Good.
My daughter has gotten really into Full House in the last couple of years, and she's been watching the old ones.
I think
And I just like cringe.
I watch. I don't remember the exact because I loved Perfect Strangers.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Perfect Strangers is great, and that's kind of the same universe, right?
Is what?
The TGI Fridayverse.
No, but I mean, like Perfect Strangers wasn't the
Family
lady
Matters-
from Family Matters.
Family Matters is a spin-off of Perfect
Yeah,
Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Yeah,
Oh.
Yes.
and I thought
So-
Full House was related somehow as well, or is it just the same? It's just because it's all that same sappy, crappy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, it's because
cue the music. This is our lesson this week.
because
Kind of.
Perfect Strangers
I guess
/
that did
Family
that too.
Matters took place in Chicago,
Yeah.
Right.
whereas
Full House.
Full
San
House
Francisco.
was San Francisco. Yeah,
San Francisco. Right.
because they lived in.
But I love Perfect Strangers.
Oh yeah, Perfect Strangers was great, and I, Full House was like the lead in, or it was on immediately after, which is why I watched it because I was watching Perfect Strangers. So I was like, oh, I'm here. I might as well watch it, you know. But I got my WarioWare theme in Tetris 99.
I love that
So-
that was our lead in.
Nice.
I know, right? So hooray for me. But again, I point out that all the themes in Tetris 99 are pointless because they already gave away the best one at the very beginning, which is of
Game
course, the
Boy?
Game Boy.
Yep.
But and then I played a little bit more of Psychonauts 2.
Hmm.
I popped that in because I'm enjoying it. I just haven't had a lot of time to play. But I did get through the spoilers, I guess, for Psychonauts 2. Some spoilers. I'm at that part where where Ford's mind is broken up into I think like 2 weeks ago when we were talking about this. This was where I was. I'm still there. But where Ford's mind is broken into 3.
That's where I
segments.
am.
and you have to go to the you got to go to like the bowling alley.
Yep.
And the barber shop, and then one more place that I can't remember what it is right now. But I went through the barber section. What is it?
Mailroom?
Oh, yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that is correct.
Sounds right.
But I went through the barber shop section.
Me too.
And, oh, did you?
Yeah.
Boy, oh, boy.
I started to go through the barber shop, and then was like, there was part of a level where I was like, I'm not sure I have whatever thing I might need to get past this area.
Oh, really?
I exited and went elsewhere.
Was it the mites?
Right after the mites.
Yeah. Okay. Because I got through it. I got through and it's not a long section. It took maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour or something to get through. But man, oh man, we were talking about the game starts off with that kind of dental horror level where there are people who are kind of squeamish about dental stuff and boy, that's gonna kind of freak some people out. And I know there are people who are also kind of weirded out by like hair, like human hair, but like not necessarily.
That's why
like,
I shaved all mine off.
Well, that's what. Yes, that's why. Wink. Not necessarily when it's on the head, but when you like you go to a barber shop and there's hair on the floor, people get kind of grossed out about, ooh, I don't want to touch the hair that's on the floor. And
why would you touch it?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
When have you run into this, Phil?
Yeah.
Is this a common thing you see happen?
All the time.
See, I don't have a lot of experience in barber shops, so I'm asking.
Shrieking at the hair they find in a barber shop.
When I go to a barber shop and I pick up clumps of hair and throw it at people, they don't like it. They've always
you got CJ rolling.
They've always gotten very angry.
This is the best part of I was thinking about this, this is my favorite part of doing this show. When you get CJ to the point that he can't breathe because he's laughing and he's like falling off the chair. Like that's and you never quite know what's going to trigger it.
No. It could be something.
Last week it was Mario Van Peebles.
I know.
Mario Van Peebles.
I think that's why I like it so much. It's like you had such a strong reaction to that stupid joke.
Oh, so good though.
No, it elevates it.
The image of Phil picking up hair on the barbershop and throwing it at people. I mean, that fits with Phil's personality.
That's true.
Completely.
Yeah.
And B, I would just like to see that. What Patreon level do we have to do to get that to happen?
For CJ to follow me around into barbershops, so he's got his phone out recording.
Yeah.
You do live near each other.
As I'm just throwing hair in people's faces.
We can make this happen.
In my mouth.
Oh, gross.
But
wait. I've got the next TikTok challenge right here.
Do you dare take the barbershop challenge?
I think we found it
on TikTok. Rush in, grab a handful of loose hair and throw it in someone's face as you run out of the shop.
CJ's crying.
I think we have found it. TikTok challenge. It's not about vandalizing schools or pouring beans on things.
Yeah, I'm sure the barbers all over the nation will be happy that that's
throwing hair at people.
Just throwing dirty hair in people's faces. Try not to slip on the beans on your way out. Oh, man. There it is.
Excuse me. That was delightful.
Whatever the case is, that barber level is full of hair. And I could totally see people getting kind of grossed out by it. Because, it's just, the pillars made of hair and staircases made out of like braided hair and just, you're climbing all over hair. And then you'll get to a big segment and then there's just a swarm of little mites just running around, and if you try and go through them, they start clinging to you, and you can't jump, and it slows you down. And
that was the point where I exited out of that level and went somewhere else.
Okay. Well, you do you do find a way to kill the mites.
I did that. Yes.
Okay, so
I did that.
You got to that part. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you get stuck on then? Where you
I don't know. There was an area where there was like a propeller thing there, and I was trying to jump through it or something, and it just didn't work. And yeah, the fan blades that blew the mites away.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know where.
I was able to get
I
past
left
that
there.
just by a well-timed jump and a little hover.
Well,
bubble.
later you get a power that will help you with that.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the case is, I finished that, and actually that segment also ends on a kind of creepy body horror bit as well. Once you kind of get there's a lighthouse, kind of a barber pole lighthouse that you're working towards in that level, and once you get there, there's a unnerving part as well. And I'm just like, man, this game is effective at being whimsically creepy. And I'm enjoying that game. So
Yeah,
I got to play some more of it. But yeah,
I need to as well.
Continues to be fun.
And I'm here too.
Wow.
Like any others.
All right.
But yeah, because
I am truly the teeny Yothers of this podcast.
Yeah, I've just been like, every now and again this week, it's like, I got 15 minutes. I'll play a couple Sega Picross puzzles or.
I'm almost done with those.
Oh, are you? I still have
Yeah.
a couple pages to go, but.
No,
Yeah.
I have I think one row of color Picross left to do.
Wow.
And then,
So you're really plowing through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing up like, Cyber Shadow. I'll play through a little level of Cyber Shadow real quick. Just kind of revisiting some of these older games that I picked up and never finished. So,
By the way, Jennifer Keaton is correct.
Is it Jennifer?
Jennifer
Okay,
Keaton.
It is Jennifer
there you
Keaton.
go. There we go.
To let you know.
Pretty exciting that none of us have played the big new Deathloop release this week.
I think I mentioned on here I can't play it because of motion sickness.
Motion sickness?
Yeah.
I can't play it because I really didn't care for Dishonored 1 or 2, and hearing that it's pretty much exactly that, and I'm sure it's awesome.
I never played Dishonored 1 or 2.
I'm not paying $100 for the chance to find out that I'm right.
Well, yeah.
I'm curious about it. I want to.
It looks. The style is so good. Like
people.
No, it looks really neat.
I'm all about it.
People seem to love it, but I just.
My problem is the field of view is very tight on console.
Okay.
And the other problem with it is the head camera movement, like when it moves around.
Can you do that again?
Oh, there it is.
That's how, when the camera is affixed basically to the front of the character's face and then moves every time the character does anything, like climbs up a surface or whatever.
Well, your head tends to move when you do things.
I know, but I can't play a game where where the character's head moves that much. Like I think I mentioned in Returnal, everything's fine when you're outside the ship, but you get inside the ship in first person and she goes to like lay down on the bed.
Oh,
right. It's like the head just like does this dramatic like
CJ's just like
move, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw up right now because of that one camera move. And that's like the whole game in Deathloop. So I don't think I can play it. I'm going to wait instead for it to come to Xbox Game Pass next year. I'll play it.
Yeah. That's probably when I'll
play it too.
To be honest.
Because I can't spend $60 if it's going to make me throw up. I just can't justify. I mean, that's also why I'm not buying the God of War sequel, because God of War 2016 made me want to throw up too.
Made you sick, really? Oh man.
Yeah, that's a different problem. That's where the camera is offset from the third person character.
Oh, okay.
It happens in the remakes of Resident Evil as well.
Oh, okay.
For me, so can't do it.
Let's see.
It's a shame.
For the record, I'm seeing in our chat, Mr. Gabe says, "Didn't Perfect Strangers come out years before Full House?" Talking about our. It came out 1 year. I just checked.
No.
Perfect Strangers was 86, Full House 87. So
God damn it, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, we are old.
We are old.
My kids were decided to watch Austin Powers tonight.
Oh. Yeah, baby, yeah.
And
so basically they've seen all 3 Austin Powers movies?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. pretty much. And well, they've seen the best one.
3.
But yeah, when I saw, I was like, oh, this takes place in 1997. God damn it, that was 25 years ago.
Yes, it was. There you go. Did they enjoy?
Are we
the
as
Austin Powers
far
movie?
away from Austin Powers as they were when they froze Austin Powers in the 60s to
Oh.
when they made the movie?
Oh, yeah, no.
We are
They were
as
like 30
far-
years. It was a 30-year gap.
We are as far from Austin Powers as Marty McFly was when he went back.
So
If
we're
they were
not
to
yet
make-
to the point.
If they were to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
Back to the Future now, where would he go
Yeah.
back to? What year would he go back to?
Well, what 87 or something?
Would it be that far back?
Well,
Was it 25 years?
that's 30 years. It was 85 to
30. It was
55,
He was right. He went to 50s, not the 60s.
and
For
then
some
he
reason,
and then he came
2015.
to and then he came to 2015.
right. I knew that.
Yeah, so there was a 30-year gap both ways.
God damn.
Yeah, and then 1885 because he went 100 years back
Mm.
to
That's
the
right.
Old West.
Yeah.
Learn your Back to the Future time.
Whatever.
Hey, that third movie is real good. I like the third one.
Yeah, I like all of them.
The second one was okay.
I like the first one the most.
Well, of course, the first one
Well-
is clearly the best,
Yeah.
but and
Naturally.
and the second one is definitely the weakest. But
Yeah.
as a
Third
whole,
one's
I
good.
love all the Back
Well, it
to the
looked like
Future
Michael
movies.
J. Fox had a lot of fun making the second one.
Oh yeah,
How do you know?
Just with all the playing his daughter and playing his just stuff like that.
he was talking to Tina Yothers and
Yeah.
Michael was always on the set of Family Ties, always bragging about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a lot of fun. Making
The one
Back to the
thing-
Future too.
One thing I don't like about the Back to the Future sequels is when they shoehorned in the whole Marty doesn't like being called a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid.
It was very stupid. It was such an obvious we need to introduce a new conflict.
Some kind of motivation for the
Yeah,
character
exactly.
to do irrational things.
Yeah. So it was very dumb, especially considering how tightly written those movies are. To
Yeah.
just suddenly, oh, he has this foible that was not even hinted at in the first one.
Well, no one called him chicken in the first one. We didn't know about it.
Yeah, lucky for
Same.
them,
That's
you know.
right. Had what's his name? Shit.
Biff?
The guy from Titanic.
Billy Zane.
Oh,
Billy
Billy
Zane.
Zane.
Had Billy Zane called Michael
weird.
J. Fox a chicken.
Why Billy Zane? Why?
Because Billy Zane is in Back to the Future.
Well, no, I get that. Why that character in particular?
Who was that? Or
Because-
Flea?
Well,
that's
okay,
true.
Flea. Too.
Yeah.
Why not Biff?
Billy Zane specifically. If Billy Zane, the
Yeah.
actor, had called Michael J. Fox a chicken,
Not his
in the
character.
first- No,
Not his
No.
character.
no, not his character. The
Yeah.
actor.
Oh my
And,
god.
it would have been
This is
justified.
such a CJ conversation.
Boy, I really didn't like that movie, The Phantom. Oh, really?
God, the Phantom.
Wasn't Billy Zane the Phantom?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
God, I remember going and seeing that in the theaters.
I did not see
Ooh,
that
really?
in the theaters.
Woof.
I saw The Shadow
Mm-hmm.
in the theater. The,
Oh, I
the
didn't see
Alec
that one
Baldwin
either.
movie. That was
Yeah.
bad. It
Yeah.
was not good.
There was so much of that post Burton Batman.
Yeah.
Let's just
Or-
find any comic book license we can afford and make a movie out of it.
The movie execs were all like, "Oh, kids ate up this Batman movie. They must be into 1930s cereal."
It clearly doesn't have anything to do with the popularity of that character.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with
Dick
they just love
Tracy?
1930s
Yeah.
comic book characters.
The Phantom, yes. Shadow, yes. Let's do them all.
So stupid. And Dick Tracy.
Oh, man.
Dick Tracy.
I saw Dick Tracy. in
Although
the
I like the
theater.
Dick Tracy.
Me too.
movie.
I did not like the Dick Tracy movie.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Wasn't amazing, but it was fun.
Yeah,
I thought.
There you go.
It was
Yeah,
no
it was a
Phantom.
weird time.
It was a weird tangent. All right.
Mhm.
I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Twiddly diddly dee. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Twiddly diddly dee. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Twiddly diddly dee. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Tweet. Oh, tweet. A tweet.
All right, let's do this one from Hackeralius, Mr. Nelson, who says,
Yes.
for those of you who emulate vintage consoles on your PC, do you like to switch up your controller to match the console you are emulating? Playing Super Nintendo and Genesis games on an Xbox pad feels odd to me.
I would like that, but I don't have Xbox, or I don't have Super Nintendo and Genesis style pads for my PC. So, but I would prefer that.
I prefer that as well.
I mean, I think
in general.
that's who wouldn't want to play a game developed for a specific system with the
controller it was designed
type
for.
Of controller was yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I want to play every game using the original launch Saturn controller. God, that thing was such a piece of
that was garbage.
crap. Why? Why did they why did they want to change that controller? That made no sense.
For the same reason they made the original Xbox controller gigantic. Some focus group somewhere told them
Americans like big controllers.
Yes, indeed. Bigger is better. In the U.S. of America.
All right. Let's do this one from Hackeralius Insipid Ghost, who says, perhaps a repeat, which I don't think we've done this question. But what's something you wish people outside the gaming industry would understand about the gaming industry? And does this factor in to how you guys cover or enjoy games?
I think that the general, I don't know about it factoring into how I covered or enjoy games. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I am so frustrated by the amount of people who have never worked game development who think they know how game development works.
That was the thing I was thinking of, is that making video games is very difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah, and I will say that affects how I've covered games to a point. I feel like I always tried hard to empathize with developers even before I'd ever done it myself, because I figured this can't be an easy job, obviously. But it wasn't coming from a place of understanding as much as an assumption. But then when I moved into game development, and you realize how many moving parts there are and how many pieces have to come together exactly the right way. Yeah. And, I'd never been the whole, they set out to make a crappy game guy, because it always just seems so stupid to me. But living it really drove that home, where it's the best intentions are almost always there. You're not churning things out to make a buck, because there's not a lot of money to be made anyway, unless you're a huge hit. Yeah. And it just, every time I see that, and of course the internet's made it a million times worse, but every time I see people who clearly have zero clue how things are made, speaking as though they're experts, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Why don't you just add online play to this couch co-op game?
Well, it's a Switch.
Great example.
It's a little on-off switch you got to hit, and that's all.
Yeah.
There's no testing involved. There's no disrupting other code or anything like that. Yeah, that's all.
Just add online.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was even I remember the conversation about, I forget what game it was. I think it was Ubisoft, where there was a conversation about why there wasn't a female and protagonist that you could play.
Yeah, it was one of the Assassin's Creeds.
And it was Assassin's Creed. And while I agreed with the philosophy that there should have been,
yes,
the conversation was very much you just put female textures on her. It's no, you don't. That's not how that works at all, right? But it's just again, agreed with the philosophy that they should have had a female playable character in that situation, but the conversation around it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it was a bunch of people saying, well, it's so easy to do. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Do it.
No. Do it. Do it.
No.
Do it. Yeah, that's frustrating. Also, whenever we would tell people what we do for a living, write about video games, they'd have an image in their mind that you play video games all day, or even if you work on video games, you play games all day. No, I mean, playing games is a thing that is part of that job. Yes.
Yeah.
But in writing about video games or making video games, there's also a lot of other things that need to happen.
Or organizing and planning a magazine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the best things that happened was for that whole thing was because my parents were absolutely that way.
Oh yeah.
And then my mom
Mine
came
too.
down to visit for a week, and it happened to be a week that we weren't on deadline the entire time, but we were on deadline for a big chunk of it. And she went away with a totally new understanding of what my job was. It's like, oh, you didn't move down to Chicago just to play video games 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a real job.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Actual work.
Right. Yeah. Always fun. That's all we got.
That's all I got.
Phil?
I was, like I said,
You were just
the
agreeing?
thing I was thinking of was what Greg was saying. So
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that making games is hard. It's not easy.
It is. Yes. All right. I think that's a show.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
like a podcast show.
Yeah.
Like
Man,
episode
podcasts are easy to make too.
7.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Easy.
I mean, you don't even have to edit them from
No.
my experience.
I just turn on the mic once a week, and like in 2 days, there's a show.
Yeah.
How does that
That's
happen? I don't know. Just
Magic.
does.
Probably hit a few buttons.
Probably.
Just flip the switch.
Oh,
Podcast view
righty.
options.
And yeah. I'll start this again.
And this is episode
Alrighty,
776.
and that's our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You will find episodes of Generation 16 there as well.
If you're listening to this on, Sunday night, the new episode is going live tomorrow night, which is the 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern
Nice.
on
Very
the
nice.
channel. So please, it's premiering, so please come hang out.
Cool. You will find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about on the show, and you will also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast. You can also watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, or on the Twitch TVs, or on the Facebooks, or on the Twitters. Follow our Twitter account, which is @P1 Podcast, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 Pacific time. So tune in, won't you? If you like what you've heard, and how could you? Head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast, where you can donate a few shekels to help our show. We are always on the lookout for new things to buy with money.
Your money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably going to need some bail after I get arrested for throwing hair at people. So, tune
well,
in
the
to
proof will
our-
be in your TikTok. Video evidence.
that. Goodness me. We got to buy a bunch of beans for no reason.
No,
No reason. We just need beans.
I just
hungry.
really like beans.
No.
Beans are good. Just saying.
Really? Jelly beans, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, why isn't that a TikTok meme?
Dumping
Foreign jelly
on-
beans on
What kind? Like, I'm assuming it's going to be like refried beans, or like,
baked beans.
yeah.
and-
Yeah.
it's not just like
No.
a bunch of
No.
raw beans or something. It's
No,
got to be
that'd be
something
weird.
messy, right?
Yeah.
Frozen green beans.
Frozen green beans. That'd be CJ's version of it. It's like, here's the old man version of the TikTok challenge.
Not
It's
even,
like, not even
not
out of
even
the
gonna
bag.
take
Just
them out
tosses
of
the bag. On.
Yeah. You got
Am I doing it right?
Well, this is the steam in bag kind.
Oh,
You got beaned.
Jeez Louise.
Alternate show title.
Yeah.
Got beaned.
Your Patreon dollars do, of course, help support our show, keep us live streaming it every week, and all those costs that we have to pay to get a podcast out these days.
True.
But you know what, friends? If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
Cheap.
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode we record right after this, playing games, cracking wise, having fun, doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ, I heard tell that there might be a Jeopardy game for us this week.
Yes, there is.
Is that true?
Phil.
Is that
That
true?
is true. There's a Jeopardy game.
And I understand that this is going to be a big boon. I think this will get more Patreon supporters. I heard that you got LeVar Burton to host.
Nope.
The real Jeopardy don't want him, but we got him.
Oh, man, I wish. That would be great. Let's get LeVar Burton in.
That's not. You know what? I don't think we can afford him.
I don't think we can either.
We can. I also don't think we are talented enough to be in the same
We can't hang with that
vicinity as the
Absolutely
great LeVar Burton.
not.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But we do have a Jeopardy game, so please join us for that. If you'd like a taste of our after shows, CJ every Thursday tosses one of the old ones from a few years back on the old podcast stream, so you can listen to those and hopefully enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/generation16 to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite second banana, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. Where else are you going to find a 27-minute episode about Sword of Sodan?
Oh my. Is that what the next one is?
That's what tomorrow night's episode is.
Oh, wow. My buddy Jim, for whatever reason, was super excited about that game. I don't know what it was.
And then he played it.
You got a half hour out of Sword of Sodan?
I did.
I am excited to see this because I hope
you will enjoy it.
Greg, I'm going to say this. I know I don't much care for you, and I know you don't much care for me, but I do enjoy the work you do on these shows, and your episodes are always full of really great information. So I am genuinely curious as to what you have, because it's got to be something interesting if you are eating up half an hour about sort of friggin'
I certainly think I know, right?
Yeah.
No, it was when I started the episode, it's like, what am I going to talk about? Here. But anyway, yeah.
I can't wait.
I hope you enjoy it. But yes, and if you support my show to the tune of $5 per episode,
also cheap,
you get access to the weekly commute, which is a weekly vlog that I do about developing the show. The one that was posted today is actually a lot of discussion about the next two episodes that are coming down the pike, because I've started working on them, and just sort of everything else is going on, what I've been playing, what's going on in my life sometimes. And looks, you know what? It's all done in my game room normally because I'm not allowed to do it while I'm driving anymore. Phil yells at me. So
I only ask you not to do that because I care about you so much.
Well, I know it comes from a place of love. I get it.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking out for you. I want you to be safe.
But yeah, that is supporting it at $5 per episode, not per month. So
also cheap.
Please consider it.
Also even more cheap.
Exactly.
Because it's per episode. So, arguing it twice the price. Yeah, so please go do that. CJ. Please go do that.
I will.
Good. You better.
CJ does support the show.
I do.
I know. So do I.
I know you do. And I appreciate it.
CJ. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the thank you.
Don't throw hair at people, Phil. Come on.
What if it's people I know?
Totally waiting to hear from my kids that they see this new TikToker named Phil.
What if it's their own hair?
Still gross.
It's their hair.
Probably technically assault too.
I'm just putting it back where it used to be. We'll let the courts decide. Gregory?
Yo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. And of course, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful listeners. Every single one of you. Please, of course, take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones, your family, your friends. Wear masks. Get a vaccine. And we hope we hope to see you again next week.
Bye-bye.